Hello, welcome back to MCFC Connect. Good to be back with a video. And today we're talking about a potential combined 11 over Man City and Man United. I don't often do these kind of videos often, so in fact it might be my first. But if you enjoy this video, that's the main thing, and if you want more of it, then feel free to let me know. But without further ado, let's talk about Man United and Man City. This season, both teams, especially last season for both teams, have not been at their best. Last season was a decent drop off where City are concerned, and United were they. I don't feel like they were ever in true relegation battle, but they were down there. They were like 17th, 16th at a point, and I think they finished 15th. So it's not an overstretch to say that they were in a relegation battle of sorts, despite thinking I don't think they were ever going to get relegated. But in this stream today, we're going to be talking about Man City and Man United. Off of the current available players is how we're doing it. So injuries not counting, and I'm also not really going to take into too much account of previous reputation before this season. Now, certain players I do intend to bring it in for, both Man United and Man City, trying to go for the most unbiased 11 that I possibly can, to be honest with you guys, because I want to be fair as possible. But of course, I'm a City fan. That might be difficult. But anyway, let's jump straight in. We got a blank canvas, a 4-2-3-1. I'm using City's formation. And I know United play with back five, so you could argue already this is a little bit favouring Man City. But nonetheless, this is what I'm going for. Now then, injuries I'm obviously not using. Goalkeeper I think is a pretty simple one. I think every City and United fan would agree. United, remember last season, and well, a few weeks ago, they thought they were getting Donnarumma to a level. Never went through. We got him. He's better than Lamens, who's still improving, and he's better than Bayindir, who was Onana's backup. And he's better than James Trafford to some level. Well, he's definitely more proven than him at least. So for me, I think you go Donnarumma just because of he is a top class keeper, and he is our number 25. So there is Gianluigi Donnarumma for us there. Now then, left back, Man United. I think they have Patrick Dorgu and Luke Shaw. Other than those two, I mean Diogo Dalot, who can play there. But for me, I'm a bit torn. But I know he's not available for this game, so I'm going to go for a player that's just as capable playing there. And last season, he was the best player, one of our best players last season, in my opinion. Arguably, was our player of the season. I think he did get player of the season for City. So I'm playing Vardio there, number 24. He's played left back before. For me, that's valid. Now then, back two, I think includes one United and one City. I think this is the first time you're going to see a United player. I think. Oh, it's tough. I'm trying to think of who City's is, because the only one I feel for United is Leny Yoro, who I do rate. I do think he's pretty good. I don't see a way into this team for Harry Maguire, De Ligt, or Martinez. But the thing is with City, this has been our weakest area this season and last season. So, I'm willing to chuck Yoro straight in there. Oh, thinking it, I've just lost the tab. Okay. Sorry if you see a fly buzzing around. There we go. That's more like it. Yoro in this team, Vardio. So you got your first United player there, United fans. Feeling good. For our left centre back, now then, there's no John Stones available. I don't fancy Ruben Diaz. John Stones I'm not counting, by the way, because I know he has picked up a knock. This would be Vardio for me, but because I'm playing Vardio where he is, I feel like I obviously can't put him there. Me personally, I rate this guy tremendously. I'm not the only one, obviously. I'm going for Abdulkadir Kusanov. I think Kusanov is top. Most City fans, I think, also think he's top. He is, in general, a top player, and I think he's going to prove that over the next couple of seasons. Now then, right back. Every City fan was calling out for a right back this summer. It's the one position we didn't get any cover for. So really, United are fighting over Mateus Nunes and Rico Lewis. Their two options are Dalot and Mazraoui. I don't really know how I know Mazraoui started last season pretty good and was one of the better signings, but the hype did die down a little bit. And I know Dalot is not a bad option for United either. They're both decent options. And then there is Amad Diallo, but you see, I'm doing a 4-2-3-1, which does make this a little harder because I know right wing backs are basically wingers at the moment in current systems. So I'm gonna go Mazraoui just because I think he's probably a tad better. All because I know that he was decent last season. I know Dalot's been kind of playing a little bit left and right, and I know he's not really played in the current system for United because of the left back stuff. But I do believe, Mazraoui can play centre back as well. So to be fair, he's probably got some stake in this team. And that is our back four. It's got two United players. Not a bad start. If this is a City fan putting two United players in it, a couple of seasons ago, I bet don't even think like maybe two at the push getting here. Just shows how far we've dropped. Now then, the pivot for me is an all-Man City pivot. I'm lobbing in Rodri, and I don't think there's any complaints where that's concerned. Rodri is when he's playing well, he's the best DM in the world. He's a Ballon d'Or winner. I know he didn't play last season, but even against Brighton, a game where he was recovering, still not quite fully there yet, bear in mind, he was still one of the better players on the pitch for us. He still delivered a 7 out of 10, which is what Rodri's best at. Rodri will hardly ever give you lower than a 7, which is what's so good about Rodri. He's the one guy that you look at and you depend on, and you're just thinking, okay, this guy's not going to let me down. He just doesn't do that. And to play alongside him, for me, is Tijani Reinders. Everyone knows this guy started decently well with City. Wolves, he absolutely announced himself to the Premier League. Of course, next game, not quite. Next two games, he wasn't quite as good. But we as a team on a whole weren't quite as good, in fairness. So, but I'm lobbing him in there. As opposed for United's options, they're not horrendous options. Mainu's obviously a very good talent. Casemiro and Ugarte, they aren't awful, but I shouldn't have passed. Well, Ugarte's probably not past it. He's only 24, but Casemiro is past it. And I just don't think, as well as a functioning team, I don't think Casemiro rolls well. And I don't think Rodri Casemiro rolls well. Because I just think they're both too slow. Rodri's pretty slow. Okay, that's not bad because he doesn't need to be quick. He's very good at covering it. And to be fair, Casemiro, I'm not gonna say he's bad at it, but I just think Reinders is better. Kobbie Mainoo's hard. I don't think he has played this season. If he has, he's played a few minutes. Maybe got a start against Grimsby, and we all know how that went. Ugarte, not gonna lie, I no idea how good this guy's been for United. So I'm throwing in Reinders because he is someone that has done pretty well so far. Now then, for the cam, I will throw in. Gosh, I don't like him, but I'm going to throw in Bruno Fernandes because there's no Shirky. Foden's not long back from injury, and I can't really put Foden in off the back of last season. I'm already using Reinders elsewhere. So I'm really quite light for options where this is concerned for Man City. I mean, there's Bernardo, but he's not an attacking midfielder anymore. He's more of an 8 for us. and it's all just a little bit light where that's concerned. I can't even put Marmouche there. And to be fair to Bruno Fernandes, he's probably the one United player that played very well last season over the course of the whole season, despite how the FA Cup final went. But right now, in this City team, Bruno is probably getting in due to the injuries and whatnot. Maybe not when we're at our best, but I won't completely take that away from him. Now then, the right wing, the left wing, and the striker. We'll start with the striker because I think it's pretty clear. Haaland, every season, he's always scoring. There's not much more to be said where Haaland's concerned. He's an absolutely top player. I don't really need to make an argument. Sesko, he's decent, but I can't really put him in. Not just yet, anyway. He's hardly played for United. It's not like he was scoring Haaland numbers when he was at Leipzig. It's not fair. It's not fair to compare him because Haaland's just that good. We literally have the best in the world where this is concerned. Now then, City's options for the right and the left aren't incredible at the moment. We've got Savinho, who can play both wings, but hasn't really set the world on fire on either wing. We've got Doku, who hasn't been the best to say the least. We have Foden, who I think's looked pretty good since the Club World Cup, but he's hardly played. We've not seen much of him this season for City. I think he's come off the bench against Brighton, and that's it. But I really hope he is available for this game. And but also on the right wing, we have Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob, I rate so highly, and I think he's going to cook wherever he goes. And look, man, I try to not be biased. It's Bob, MBEUMO, and Diallo for me. Diallo's been playing a bit more right wing back, but I have already said that wing backs are kind of like wingers nowadays. They're just they're basically like wingers that are also helping out the back. They're very much different. So it's Bob who, despite probably being one of our better players this season, it's Bob versus MBEUMO, who played very well for Brentford last season, obviously scored a lot of goals. I struggle to get Bob in here. Putting all bias to one side. You have no idea how much it pains me to put all my bias to one side, because if there's any City player I advocate for, it is Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob is my goat. I absolutely love him. For left wing, I'm just going to say it as it is. I can't. Doku and Savinho aren't it. And to be fair, I think Cunha's looked pretty good off the left for United so far. Against Arsenal, I thought he was pretty decent. So I'm going to go for Cunha. I don't like it. It's way too much United for me. Bob. I'm MBEUMO / Diallo. Gosh. Look at it. Or Foden, but I can't really put Foden in, not off the last season, and again this season, despite looking decent, he's hardly played. Gosh, being completely unbiased, Being completely unbiased, I hate to do it. I absolutely can't stand it. That is awful. That's absolutely horrendous. Cunha, Bruno, and MBEUMO all behind Haaland. I'm not saying that's a really bad lineup, but I want it to be City players. I want this here to be. I want it to be Doku. I want this here to be Bob. I want this here to be Foden or Shirky. And I'm just saying, if Shirky was available and Marmouche were available, this is not an all-three United side. It's just because of our injuries that have led me to make this decision. I can't stand it. I really can't. But that is my completely unbiased City combined 11 with United. It is, in terms of overall numbers, it is majority Man City with goalkeeper, two defenders, two midfielders, and one attacker. United have got three midfielders slash attackers, and two defenders. So a 6-3-5 ratio. It's not awful for us. But again, for me, it just kind of shows how far we've fallen. City, that is, considering where we're, got to remember, United are above us right now, which is awful to say because that has not been the case for a while. But look, that's my completely unbiased combined 11. Might get ripped into in the comments below, but hey, I hope I don't. I've just tried to be unbiased as possible and try to use logic to make that conclusion. But let me know where I've gone wrong. Probably the one area where I've probably slipped up a little bit is right back for United. I don't really know who United would prefer, Mazraoui or Diallo or Delo, because we don't have a right back, so I can't really put one in. But look, big up to everyone who tuned in. I do appreciate the support, as per usual. And this is a bit of a fun one. I actually had quite a lot of fun making this video, so I hope you had a lot of fun watching it, and I'll see you all in the next one.